For more on the future of the global gambling industry, we are joined right now in the newsroom by Michael Leven. He is the president and COO of Las Vegas Sands. Michael, always glad to have you with us. I want to start with Singapore because for many people who look at your company, in some ways this is the wild card. This is still unproven. You still have properties that are yet to open. 25% is open so far. But there's been a lawsuit recently brought up, people complaining about unfinished rooms, water leaking from the roof, lost luggage. Is this just part of the opening glitches that are normal, or is this something else?
Well, I think some of the problems were normal opening difficulties that any property has, particularly one of that size. But we did have a convention of lawyers to start out with, so it was not really...
So you knew it was going to be bad news.
We knew we were going to have some kind of conversation. Actually, the lawyers stopped payment on checks that were given to us. And as a consequence, we filed a writ to collect that money. We did expect that they would counter-sue or counter-file. That's been done, and we'll defend our position very vigorously.
Aside from this suit, from this convention, are there any other opening glitches, or are things going as you plan?
Oh, I think basically there are always small glitches that take place. There are always an air conditioning problem here or there, or a water problem here or there. But in general, I think we're running pretty high satisfaction rates. We're tracking satisfaction at about 98% now with those people who are using the facility. We'd like to get to 99. You're never going to be at 100. It's a big place with lots of things going on. Actually, it is actually 53% of the resort is open on a GFA basis. We had to have that for the casino license, but only about maybe 25 to 30% of the income-producing areas other than the casino are open. So we're making progress on those two.
And cash flow targets so far so good? Is it what you expect for the year?
Actually, as I said previously, we're actually exceeding analyst expectations after the first month.
Your own expectations?
But no, well, actually, we've exceeded my expectations, but I don't know if I've exceeded Sheldon Adelson's expectations.
All right, well, something to shoot for there. Now, Singapore, we know, has a low rate gambling tax rate, at least if you compare it to other parts of the world. And I'm just curious if there's any temptation to help give Singapore an extra opening boost to bring some of your high rollers in from Macau to somehow direct business to Singapore?
Well, we get that question all the time, and the reality is no. We are not soliciting our Macau players to go to Singapore. Some of them, in fact, have gone for curiosity reasons, but we share sales office with Macau around Asia, and in those sales office, the instructions are to take people where they want to go. Do not push them into Singapore. The market is so vibrant in Singapore, we don't have to do it.
Speaking of Macau, this is going gangbusters. You've had absolutely incredible growth. I mean, no one's seen results like this in any business this year. Is it sustainable?
Well, let's take a look at the growth. I think the real comment about growth is when you see a growth of 95%, for example, what they're talking about, that growth is actually in gaming loss, which is what the taxes are collected on in Macau. So if you really look at it, for the first 4 months of the year, January through April, growth in Macau in visitation was 12%. Actually, April itself was 13%. That's in numbers of visitors. So what's happening is the losses have been higher, which means one of two things. Either VIP is playing more and losing more, or the mass market is losing more. The happiness for us is that we think 13% is sustainable, but we can never guarantee that they'll lose 95% more year over year.
Today is a bad day to talk about Chinese stocks being lower because Shanghai had a really strong finish today. But do you think with a shakier Chinese stock market, you get more VIP gamblers in Macau?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think I'm not really certain how many of our Chinese players, our VIP players, are really stock market participants. Most of these individuals we find are in businesses. They've made a tremendous amount of money over the years, and they love to gamble, they love to play. And as the stock market bounces up and down, particularly in Asia, we don't see any change in the level of business play.
Michael Leven, we have to leave it there. Thanks as always for coming.